Are we good?
Well, we're recording.
You know what? I think it's gonna work this time, and let me tell you why. I think any like actual effort into it today. My makeup, it looks worse than it's ever looked. I burned my head when curling my hair,
hmm
which you can totally tell is curled. And I did not put my eyebrows on.
So it's winning all around
Yeah,
then.
every time that I've not put my eyebrows on in a main channel video, best freaking audio and video I've ever done. And
Great.
so all I have to worry about is staring at my like lack of eyebrows. So now you're not going to be able to unsee it the whole time. You're going to be like, or even more probably appropriately, you're going to be like, what are you talking about? No eyebrows.
I mean, I see eyebrows.
Yeah, because I don't like do them big, you know? I just have to kind of fill in the edges because I don't have eyebrows.
It's just a little filling work, not
Yeah,
like whole eyebrows.
right. Not like the whole thing. But yeah, I'm thinking these are all the reasons why I think it's going to work today because
Cool.
I came not prepared.
I hope that's accurate.
Yeah.
There was so much preparation, the last time or two.
Yeah, my God. That was it's been a moment. It's been a journey
It has been.
getting to this point.
Yes. That's a
Feeling
good
pretty
way to
good
put
about
it.
this though, huh?
Yeah, I'm post producing audio is my bag. Getting it all set up to just sound perfect going into the machine, that I don't understand that. But getting some raw data and being able to fix it later, that I can handle.
Well, see, that's been our biggest problem with everything that we've done because we've been setting everything up to live stream realistically since the beginning of the channel. So, like, and 99.9% of my videos are not live streamed.
Yeah, this is a realization I've had to come to over the last few days is we constantly set things up to live, which means it does have to all be dialed in, right? You've got to have all your audio filters and your noise reduction and everything perfect. But we're not live streaming.
Right.
So why don't we give ourselves all the data to work with and produce it in post because it's recorded?
Yeah, and in addition to that, like things like there are certain parameters that exist within live streaming that you just can't do, right? Like our camera, the Sony, it will record 4K, but if you're using it as a webcam to live stream, you got 720, baby. That's all you get.
Yeah.
And so I've been just working within those parameters of okay, well that sucks that I don't have the full functionality of any of my cameras or any of my microphones or anything else. And then, like, when I got you involved, I guess specifically, and you started doing more of this and you made it click. Like, this is not live stream. This is, you don't even have to run through OBS, record freaking raw footage.
Yeah.
Everything's raw and we clean it up in post, which is great because I have to clean shit up in post anyway.
Yeah, this whole OBS thing is a trap that you can fall into.
I know.
Because I started thinking back to, I guess it's been 20 years now that I ran a camera. But yeah, you record, someone's got a microphone and someone's got a camera. And you're not even connected to a computer unless someone is like looking at a monitor, but it's not recording anything. You're recording on the camera, you're recording on the mic setup, and then you bring those things together and fix them because they're always mucked up, and then put them together as a film.
Yeah. And I have been, since I moved into the soap shop, uh, recording my face videos. Granted, there was a reason for all of that initially because it's like I want to do the soap live streams or whatever. So making sure that the actual OBS worked for this angle versus this angle, whatever. Good.
Mm.
But I've been recording all of my face videos since I've moved my face videos into the soap shop through OBS. And so a limitation of a limitation of a limitation, and then you upload that shit to YouTube.
Right.
And so I'm like, why is my image quality so bad? I don't understand. I stopped raw recording my face videos. And they don't match up with the image quality of my soap videos because those are still raw records.
Right.
Wild.
Yeah. And that's the thing with the audio or the video. Just record it as huge as you can. I mean, if you can record in 8K, 900 frames a second, do it. Because you can downsample everything to work on YouTube where you're limited to 720p and 30 frames a second or whatever. It still looks phenomenally better if you capture all the data in the beginning and then sample it down to work with whatever you're working with.
Right.
Which you can't do when you're streaming. You have to set up for the ideal stream.
Right. And I've been setting up all of my shit for a, stream, and I had no reason for that. But also, I don't really care. The soap stuff, it's like nobody gives a crap. My audience does not give a crap if my, camera feed is wonky from day to day when they see my face. The actual soap part, that's nice and clear. Looks great. That's never not looked great. It's just the ever-changing, evolving of me trying to figure out how my face looks, really. So that's been fun.
But the soap part is recorded separately on a different camera, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then brought in to add later.
Yeah, it's all done in the editing software afterwards.
Yeah.
So
that's basically, the soap footage is recorded properly, and the rest of it is run through a piece of software it doesn't have to run through.
Uh-huh. It's been a good time.
It has been.
Yeah.
It's been a very educational few days.
Yeah, this time here has been wild with all of this. And it's been a journey to get to this point, and I'm really hoping that it works out. We're learning so much. I've been doing YouTube videos for 3 years, and I'm just now learning how to do it. It's wild.
We're just now approaching it as a recording.
Yeah, we're just now also really acknowledging that there's a camera.
Yes, we're doing a podcast today.
Oh, yeah.
Keep talking about hope it works. That's what we hope works.
Well, we're hoping it works.
Podcast.
This thing that you see right now, it's a podcast. And it's the first one.
And if you're seeing it, I suppose it mostly worked.
It worked enough for me to go, you know what? Ship it.
Yeah. We've not gone into post and checked any of this yet, but
I have no idea. We're flying blind here. Although I can still see audio levels, and they're moving. And so that's all I care about, really, that it's working.
Oh, yeah, because we're recording a scratch audio also to sync up waveforms later.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we are here. It's a podcast. It's a podcast.
Hi.
Yeah, hello. I don't know actually how to start any of this. I guess first off, we're doing a podcast, and you might recognize my face from somewhere else. Because I am the face and voice and general annoyance of the Soap and Clay channel. Like, that's me. I'm there all the time. He's been there a couple times.
Yeah, a time or two.
But, yeah, this isn't really soap related over here. So it's a little bit different. And I wanted to talk to you, actually, because we've been going over what we're going to name the channel or whatever.
Right.
And so we had like 2 ideas realistically to introduce, like, hey, welcome to insert here. And that's what we're going to do. And then figure it out, before we hit, because by the time you see this, it'll already be named. But we don't really know right now. And so just those 2, but I had ChatGPT.
Oh, here we go.
Suggest some names this morning. And so now it's become this new thing.
So they're good names.
I don't know. I'm going to have to see. Do you want to see?
Yeah. Let's see what we got.
The first 2 that we were looking at, right? So I think originally I had settled on the Soap Sesh podcast.
Yes.
So still tying in soap. So, there's a reason that it's attached to the brand channel. And Sesh, because podcast, we're not really talking about soap. There's a section of it that's talking about soap every week, but that's not the focus by any stretch of the imagination. If you're interested in soap, you can go over to Soap and Clay, and I do that over there. I'm not doing that here.
Yeah, that's sort of the point of the podcast, is to not be soap related, yeah?
Yeah. And so, well, I mean, it will be related in a sense, but, because again, the aforementioned, we'll talk about it. It's a segment every week, but not in the way of like educating people and stuff. And so that was the original Soap Sesh. And then we thought Defiantly Normal was funny. And so there's that.
Thank you, autocorrect.
Thank you, autocorrect. Defiantly Normal was something that I think we'll have to explain all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I just checked out ChatGPT, and a couple good ones, actually, with all of this. And so I'm not mad at it. Soapbox Society, which I don't really know about that, because it's like, we're not a society.
Not a society, but I sort of like it with the whole music and photography aesthetic we've been talking about.
Yeah. So that's where I started taking ChatGPT, following. I was like, you need to go down this path with me. And so Suds and Sound Bites was also given.
I don't hate that.
Which is kind of cool. And then Soap and Sound, which I thought was kind of cool because
Yes.
that song Safe and Sound,
Right.
you know what I mean? So that's kind of fun. And then I asked about specifically with like the film noir aesthetic and everything with the intro or whatever
Hmm.
that we're going for to go with that. And they suggested The Dark Room
That sounds fun.
and says this name plays off the idea of a dark room in photography and suggests that the podcast will be a place for deep, thoughtful discussion. I'm like, well, I don't know about that.
It'll be discussion.
Yeah,
Let's not pigeonhole ourselves to deep thought.
yeah. And then Noir News, which is okay, or the Shadow Society.
I love that. Just sounds awesome.
Or Soap Noir, which could be confusing, but also cool as shit, right? Because we're not actually making films, but we are making a podcast.
Yeah.
And noir and the whole idea of like fatalism and cynicism and, you know, nihilism and shit. We'll probably deliver that, you know?
Actually, I think that might be the winner.
Soap Noir.
Soap Noir's got a ring to it.
Doesn't it?
It doesn't make any sense. Like
No.
you're just saying.
No.
You don't put those two words together. They don't go together,
but it fits.
It's fun.
It somehow fits the vibe.
It does.
Yeah.
I have to dwell on that, but I think I like that one.
Yeah. So we'll have to think about it within context of our intro and outro songs and like our overall aesthetic for the titles and the intro vid and everything.
We'll just have to throw these names up in the beginning. Like when we edit this, just put Soap Noir on there before the video starts and see what it looks like to us.
Well, yeah, there's also that too, because it does mean creating a new logo. And that's why I like the Soap Sesh so much, because it just like automatically came together.
Hmm.
But I mean, theoretically, I guess that logo could still be used for this.
I think
As
so
long as the fonts are
because
fine.
specifically the mic that you use is a very noir era sort of mic image.
I think so too. So, yeah, welcome to insert probably one of those many things I just said here. The first podcast episode of insert channel name here.
We'll just awkwardly dub in what the name of it is right there
No, we
when
won't.
we pick it.
Absolutely not. We're making none cuts to any of this. So, yeah, that is what's happening. Whatever we decide on, you'll know because the channel will be named that. And hi, welcome to the first podcast. And I'm Chantine.
And I am Jake. Hello.
We have real names.
Yeah, I'm not just Mr.
Feeling some kind of way about that.
It's awkward.
It's weird, you
After
know,
having been semi-anonymous.
right? Because I don't say my name in videos. That's not a thing.
Right. Because that brand has a persona.
Yeah, because the Soap and Clay brand has always had Mrs. Soap and Clay. All the classes that I taught for years before I even did the, you know, the soap channel, that's what I introduced myself as, because my name's weird first, and weirdly Mrs. Soap and Clay is easier. But the biggest thing is, as soon as I say my name to anybody, they're like, "Oh, that's so interesting. Where did you get it? And like, what's the story behind the name, right?"
Mm.
And I don't have time to explain that story 30 times a day. You know, we're trying to make soap here. And also, there is no story. It's not like an interesting story. It's like my mom made this up. This isn't some obscure Greco-Roman goddess that, like, no.
Yeah, it doesn't mean something in another language.
Right.
Your mom just liked those letters together and named you that.
She made it up. It's not a real thing. Although I used to tell people that it's derived from the French word chanter, which means to sing.
Which it could be.
And I was told that by a French professor at the university when I was a child, and I was doing like the gifted and talented program thing. And I liked him because he had a fun accent. So I'm like, that's what I'm doing.
That is a lovely accent.
Mhm.
And it could actually mean that. Your mom just didn't know it when
She just didn't
when
know
she
it.
used the word.
Right. My mom knows French. No. Hi, Mom. We're here, by the way. So, yes, what is the point of the podcast? Why are we here? If we're not doing soap, and soap is somehow going to maybe be included in the name of the podcast, what are we doing?
We are here as an outlet for all the things that we discuss that don't fit in the soap channel. Because, as you said earlier, it's instructional and educational, and it's got a certain sort of community that shouldn't be subjected to or isn't interested in the other bits of life that we discuss and talk through, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a pretty good way of describing it, actually. Yeah, because we've had you on the channel sometimes, and I love it. I love having you on the channel, and the Sudsers like having you on the channel or whatever, and they're always asking about you and everything. But for the most part, that's not like you can't just come and like we can talk about whatever. It always
Yeah.
has to be soap related, and I don't have any soap content to ever deliver with you, because you're not part of my business the way that other partners might be a part of, their whatever.
Yeah, as far as the day-to-day job, we don't work together. You've
Right.
got your job, which is soap business, and I've got my job, which is not soap business at all. And so I've really enjoyed being on the channel with you and doing videos, mostly lives. I think I've only recorded with you like one, maybe two videos.
Yeah.
But like you just said, I'm not usually involved in the process. I come along when there's something that has involved me. And otherwise, if I pop in, I would just be there as your sidekick for comedic relief. Like there's no need to have me there. So this is awesome to me because I would have been wanting to work for, and there was no reason for it to happen.
Right. Yeah, and I like it. I like just being able to just talk with you and do this because generally this is our life, just sitting around and talking about whatever weird rabbit hole that I've gone down for any given day. And it works, and it's entertaining and you're funny and you always have a really interesting perspective to the crap that I'm talking. So it's cool. And that means that you can be here and we can spend more time together doing this kind of stuff and not at all me having to figure out how to shoehorn you into, the soap stuff. And also, in a general, you and I together with each other, we barely talk about our own work, maybe 1% of our day. But in general in life, I don't, I have so many other things that I'm wildly more interested in, like talking about, than just soap. And to be perfectly honest, it was shocking that I was able to get 365 days times two through without completely throwing in the towel and just going, you know what we're going to do? It's going to be nothing but Taylor Swift. I'm not talking about soap today.
Yeah, actually, those first 2 years were impressive.
Yeah.
That you did that 2 years in a row.
Daily soapy content. I love soap. I love the Sudsers. I love all of that. But I also have other interests. And I know that some of the Sudsers, they are interested in hearing what else I have to say. And some of them aren't. And so putting it on the channel, like just the random things that I want to talk about, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you've created a channel. You've created expectations for a
Right.
channel, especially 2 straight years of every single day is an instructional or informative video about soap.
Right.
You can't really deviate from what you've created there. And there are more things in your life than soap.
Right.
So, actually, you had some sort of loose format you wanted to use for this, yeah? Like, we're going to talk about certain things every week or whatever
Yeah.
our schedule is.
Yeah, so I think the format would basically be a section about soap. Every week, we would talk about kind of the drama that occurs within the soaping world, both within, well, mostly within forums and whatnot, because that's where the real crazies exist. Because my community is really great. Like we've had some weird ones, but they've left, and so that's good.
Right.
But for the most part, my community is great, and it's very rare that I get any weird comments or mean comments or whatever. That will happen over here because I don't feel like I should have to censor myself and, not poke fun at the idiots that say stupid things. And so I will be doing that for sure. And another section of like house updates because the Sudsers, that's when I do talk about the house or whatever, very interested in that. They want like a house tour and stuff. And I'm like, well, I can't do that on the soap channel, but we can do it over here. Give updates on this never-ending renovation. And then a Taylor Swift section. I mean, because like obviously.
Yeah.
I was about to point at the wall and I realized we're filming in a different place. So my wall's not here.
We're in the cozy spot. You know what? We've not turned the fireplace on.
My shirt's here though. We didn't turn the fireplace on. I turned it off this morning. That was weird.
I just noticed.
Yeah. Hold, please.
That'll be an interesting little cut where that's just flamed up there.
What are you talking about? We're just going to cut however much that was um, however long we've been going. And we're just going to cut a piece of this next footage out with just the fireplace and insert it in the video over the dead fireplace.
Oh, yeah, we could do that.
So it'll look like it is.
See?
Yep.
Recording. You can edit everything in post.
Sure can.
It's lovely.
Sure can. But yeah, so a Taylor Swift section, of course, as well. And then just the random musings of my brain. You know what I mean? Like whatever's been going on in the week, because you get subjected to that every morning when you wake up. You never know what you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Why not let the world witness that weirdness?
I mean, those are some of the best conversations. I learn something every day.
Whether you want to or not.
Because of whatever randomness you've stumbled across.
Yeah, because I do stumble across a lot. I have, my brain is weird.
It's impressive.
I go through a lot of stuff every day, go down a lot of different rabbit holes every day. And sometimes I just really need to share them with you, if only to have somebody else like in my life, if only to know that other people now own that too,
Especially if it's like creepy knowledge.
Yeah, no, I don't know that we're going to go too far into creepy knowledge though, because I do a lot of like true crime. I enjoy that, like listening to it and stuff. And I obviously do all the trials and I follow all those. Well, not all of them live, and I'll listen to those all day when they're in court. But I don't really want us to be doing that. Like there are so many freaking channels out there that are covering all that that's their bag, and I watch them for that purpose. I don't want to sit here and talk about that, because also like I just generally, a lot of it's so dark, man,
Yeah, it gets real weird.
Yeah. And so as like a general update on, the ridiculousness that's going on with, like Elizabeth Holmes or Alec Murdaugh and his insanity, whatever, fine. But going into any real detail about, some of that shit's really dark.
Yeah. Yeah, some of these cases that you followed have like literally depressed you, hearing the details.
Like
we definitely don't want to throw that out here.
Having to watch cartoons and shit at the end of the day, because it's like, this was a lot to process today.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that, Like my whole original channel, like the Soap and Clay or whatever, I like to keep it upbeat, And so I don't let people in on things that are going on in my life. I don't make that the point, which is another reason why this is so good, because I can take a negative thing that occurred on the channel or whatever, release it somewhere else so I get that healing, and not make my channel culture just this place where everybody's going to trauma dump, because I don't like that. I don't want to do that to my audience. I think it's rude and really not cool. And I don't want to encourage them to do that,
No, absolutely.
within this community. So
this allows you to protect the audience that you've created,
right,
or that has come together over there.
Exactly. And so I'll get to do some of it here, tongue in cheek, be funny about it, and not have to worry about the dark. But yeah, it's gonna be a wild time. It's basically just, well, I guess really it's an extension of the middle 20% of all of my videos. Because I kind of start out with the random, and some people don't like that. And it's like, literally go the fuck away. I don't know why you're here. Only weird people can be here. How did you find us?
Right.
That's
one thing I look forward to talking to on this, is addressing the weirdness that occurs both on your other channel and just in the forums in general. Like you mentioned earlier, soap drama. It is insane how much drama there is in this soap community.
Yeah. It's wild. And I have
no idea.
I don't understand it. And I guess so we're talking about the soap section right now. So I just finished up with the shampoo bar series, right? Just finished uploading that on the channel. And I got really froggy. Like, I mean, I think I started froggy with it, really, but it got worse throughout the entirety of it. And so at the end of it, it's just basically like, stop talking if you're going to be fighting about shampoo. I said it was a shampoo bar, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And because it's such a stupid thing, soap makers, I don't know, man. It's like, I have a background in chemistry. And that is a thing. And so my brain works in some kind of way, right? But
Like understanding the chemistry behind what you're doing.
like
Yes.
understanding the chemistry behind what I'm doing. But most soap makers do not have that background, right?
Right.
Because it's not required. It is not required. But the drama that goes on with these really ridiculous assertions about things like whether you should use like an alkaline, like a soap for your shampoo, or, you know, an acid, or what cure time is, and how about the crystallization and all this bullshit, right? It gets to the point, like when I see it on forums and then just like whatever, I have had multiple instances where I have called or texted or DM'd one of my friends that are actually working in the field of chemistry. They're teachers or they're, you know,
Mm.
and I'm like, dude, am I missing? Has there been a breakthrough?
Right.
Because that's like the chemical process and the actual chemistry behind soap. It's organic chemistry mostly, but it's so basic that it's not covered and studied because it's like these are really easy. These are really easy concepts to grasp because it's
Yeah.
all about the pH scale, right? And I honestly think that the reason why there's so many fights and people are just so emboldened in their opinions of whatever is because they don't understand the pH, and so they don't understand this part of science, and because actual science is going, we're not interested in even studying this or even like correcting you because it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. It's not hurting anything. You know, it's soap. If
Yeah.
it was dangerous, we wouldn't let you do it.
Yeah, all of this is the reason that the FDA doesn't regulate it.
Exactly,
I mean,
because nobody cares because
forth.
it's almost impossible to anyway. And so they're more emboldened because there's no scientists that are out there actually saying, Colonel Sanders, you're wrong. Mama's right. And it's leading to a lot of really weird fights. And I'm just over here sitting like, okay, I mean,
What I see is they form an opinion based on nothing and then go out and state it as fact and argue with everyone that disagrees with their opinion.
right. And then there's enough of them that are stating it as fact that they're literally just citing each other. Like, I'm sorry, but if you're going to like Soap Deli Forum or soapdeliblog.com or whatever to get your fucking information on the chemistry of, you know, soap,
Yeah.
no. And if you can't find articles about it, they exist. They exist in the books that I, you know, was taught from in university and in scientific journals. If you can't find those articles, it's for a reason because they're not updating any of this information because it is what it is. And the information that you are saying runs contrary to that. So this big fear about, oh my God, is this pH too high? It's like that bottle of water with the 9.5 pH water. Like, stop it. Stop it. If I'm able to drink this,
it's probably all right.
It's probably all right to, you know, have a soap that has that whatever.
Yeah, but the science community looks at it and goes, hey, you know what? Your great, great, great ancestors figured out how to put lye and fat together. So we're not addressing this.
And it gets really, really ridiculous. And so that's the thing that's been going on for a while to the point where I decided that, well, because I'd been getting too many questions saying, hey, can you do, you know, shampoo bar recipes and stuff? And I hadn't done any shampoo bar recipes since like year one. And I don't like doing it because, again, it's like this big hot button thing. Like people come in and be like, actually, you can't use an alkaline soap on your hair. And I'm like, says who? I do.
Mm.
Is my hair falling out? Like, am I on fire? To say that you can't do something is ridiculous.
Even before I shaved my head, I preferred to use a bar of soap to wash my hair.
Yeah, 100%.
I've never been a shampoo person.
Right. And so like, and that's what we did up until like 100 years ago. And so it's ridiculous to say like emphatically, yes, this is better than. Thousands of years people were using whatever. Like, I don't know why people do that. I don't know why people hold these firmly held beliefs like this is right. And I hate everything that you stand for because you have a different opinion.
That part is weird. How it gets like personal. That, oh, you don't agree with what I say about shampoo and hair pH, so fuck you.
Right.
No. I make my shampoo different than you. That doesn't mean we're mortal enemies.
Right, exactly. It's like, that's not, a reflection on anything else that you are. And again, still, it's not right or wrong. People are just convinced that it has to be one way or the other. And it's like, how many things in life is that true? You know?
Yeah.
That there's a black and white?
Very rarely.
So why would it apply to this?
I just have Billy Madison playing in my head now. Shampoo goes on first and cleans the hair.
Conditioner is better. But yeah, so that's really the drama that's been going on in the soap world. And it doesn't hit my channel, but also because I know that when I put out videos like this, it has the potential to hit my channel.
Mm.
And I don't want to deal with it. Like, I don't have time. I do not have time to deal with that. I get froggy from the jump. I'm like, you're a dick. You can continue to say a stupid thing. It's still a stupid thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to sit over here and continue to run my very successful business using this because this is what my customers want. They don't want the Syndet bars. If they wanted the Syndet bars, I would make them because I don't make any more money picking one side or the other. You know what I mean?
Right.
I am going to make the thing that my customer base wants from me. And the majority of my customer base has decided that they are great with alkaline shampoo soaps.
And as a business, you produce what your customers want to purchase and use.
Right.
As a fundamental opinion stater on a forum, you can pick a side.
Right.
And staunchly defend it.
Right. But
because none of this is putting money in your pocket.
Right. And again, that's why you don't find me on freaking forums arguing with people about what's right and what's wrong in soap, because I don't make any money off of that either.
Yeah.
And all the time that I have to spend, bitching on a Facebook forum is time that I could actually be making money, running my business.
Yeah.
So.
But you have more than just shampoo, more than just this. You have products that you make and you sell, and they sell amazingly, and they make you money. And then you make videos about making those products. And then we talk about how you've got this video filmed and it's ready to go, but you know that there's going to be some bullshit when you publish it.
Right.
And you don't want to deal with that. So you delay putting out the video.
Right.
Because you don't have time to deal with scrubbing comments when the assholes come to play.
Right. Well, yeah. And that's why year 3 content has been so fun for me, because I'm not doing daily anymore. It's weekly. Mm. And so that's why whenever I'm gone for 4 or 5 days, that's why I don't want to deal with whatever's about to happen.
Yeah.
Next up for all of this is the Pride. I mean, it might be releasing right now, depending on how long it takes us to get this up, but the Pride soaps. And that was another one of the reasons why we're like, you know what? No, channel. We're doing the podcast, because the shit that I get every time I even remotely hint that I'm even kind of progressive, maybe.
Yeah.
I get the most bigoted, hateful, racist, just terrible people come out of the woodwork and say awful shit. And they're not bots. I thought they were bots. I click on their name and they're whole ass people. Some of them have channels and they're just spouting this horrible shit. And it's like,
right.
I'm not doing this anymore. As a result, I just to keep the peace on YouTube, because I don't want to deal with it, I just don't make Pride Month a big deal. And Pride Month's a big deal for me. In my business, I continue to do it every single year, but on the channel, I'm like, oh, let's just not put out the soap. Why?
Yeah, you made specialty bars for Pride Month every year you've had the business.
Right.
And the first couple of years on YouTube, you made videos about them and dealt with that.
Right.
So now we're in, I think, the 3rd year of doing the Pride Bar for YouTube, or deciding whether or not you're going to put it on YouTube. It still exists in the business. It's still a part of life.
Right.
But that was an issue, is all of the bullshit that's going to come when I publish this video. It's making me not want to publish the video.
Right.
And that's silencing yourself.
Right.
Essentially.
And
for
why?
The brand.
Why? And I don't even think that it's for the brand, right? Because because this is how I would react if it were the brand. You know what I mean? If somebody is in my shop and, holds up the Pride soap and says, I don't like this gay shit, do you think I wouldn't take him to task?
Yeah. They would be escorted out of the store. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And so just this idea that I'm silencing for, I don't know what, so people don't unsubscribe, fucking unsubscribe. I don't want you here if this is the kind of belief system that you have, honestly, because these are just basic human rights. And so, yeah, I guess that's probably a conversation for next week's podcast when we maybe have the pride bars out and can talk about that in more whatever, because I'm sure somebody's going to say something bad. Circling back to what I was saying before, I go silent for 4 or 5 days at a time just to get to a point in my real life where I will have time to go in there and fight with some bitches in the comments
Mm.
and then remove them.
Yeah. You've got to plan around knowing what's coming with that.
Right.
So you have time to deal with
And I still have to maintain this is soap. You have no reason to be
it.
this weird about it, Seriously.
Oh,
So
seriously.
that's the soap update this week. That's kind of it. House updates. What are you currently working on with the house?
I'm currently building a closet.
Yeah, you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Closet the size of a bedroom.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's so nice. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so I'm working on building the closet for our master suite, which has become a wing of the house on its own. And it's all of the things we've ever wanted, plus LEDs.
Well, you always want LEDs, though.
Yes.
So that's just all the things we've ever wanted.
Sort of a running joke. Everything I do has LEDs.
Yeah, it is actually a running joke. Fletcher thinks it's the funniest thing in the world.
He's also jealous.
Oh, well, I mean, nobody ever says anything in my family about all the cool shit that exists in our house, but they're jealous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like all of the lighting and everything that is just standard throughout. It's all controlled by, the Alexa, and all changes colors. You can set different mood lighting, all the stuff. They want it. They want it.
Yeah. The whole house is color changing, full spectrum, voice activated LEDs for the overhead lights. So every room in the house. And then custom desks and fireplaces and everywhere else I can put an LED.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Salt and pepper grinders.
Yep. LEDs are everywhere. And it's awesome. I mean, it makes my decisions a whole lot easier because I don't have to decide on like actual light fixtures and crap, except for, chandeliers and just like decor lighting.
Right. Just the pretty stuff.
Right. Because it is what it is. They are all the same thing, and it makes really nice.
It is. I think the consistency is nice. And they're just these, they just sort of blend into obscurity.
Right. Yeah, you don't even notice them in the ceiling. And it's good because we live in a place where it's always raining. And so having lights that can look like, we can light our house up like a runway strip with the amount of LEDs that we have.
Yeah, installing overhead lighting in the winter was probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because there's at least 3 bulbs more than you need in every room.
Every room. It's so much. But it's good because, task lighting is always an important thing in like kitchens and stuff. And the whole kitchen is task lighting. It's actually offensive. There's too much light in the kitchen,
Yeah, that's the first place where you've asked if I could put a dimmer in.
Right. Like, actually, could we turn this down? There's too many.
And to that, I've still got 3 lights I haven't hooked up in there.
Yeah, I know. It's wild. But yeah, the closet is amazing and gorgeous. And, I designed a closet. And just like it always happens, I designed something that's already complicated and you overcomplicate it.
Yes.
Yep. So
I just take the complicated design and add LED.
Let's just put in one of those strips, And you're like, how about we hate wires and they exist nowhere? So no.
Yeah, no. Anyone can pop onto Amazon and buy an LED strip with a plug on the end and stick it somewhere. I'm not doing that. If it's not a professional result, we're not going to have it.
Yep. Jake has to be extra, which is good. I like that.
It's going to be nice and clean. You can have LEDs that are motion activated on infrared sensors with a wire inside.
Yep. That closet's going to be nice, though.
I'm really looking forward to moving in there.
Yeah, totally. It's going to be great to actually have all of my clothes in one place. For those of you who don't know, we have a house that we've been working on for probably 3 years at this point because we are doing 100% of the work on our own. We can do. So we're doing it 100% on our own, and we're not doing that to like save money or anything like that, although it is a huge money saver, but more because the things that we want to do to the house, the way that we want it to live, people either tell us it's impossible or it's going to cost a bajillion doll hairs. And it's like, well, if we have the skill set, let's just do it ourselves. And so we do. And it gets weird and fun. And sometimes you end up with copper fireplaces.
which was amazing.
That's a really cool fireplace. And that's another cool
Yeah.
thing about like doing this and not really giving a crap what somebody else's input is, because some contractor or some designer would come in and be like, no, you should never do that. But it brings us joy.
So much of this design has evolved because, like you said, we've been working on it for 3 years. And I don't even remember what this was supposed to be. At some point, there was an idea. This isn't it.
Right.
But at somewhere, we were like, you know what would be really cool? Because we ran across these things that we could make this happen with. Like, yeah, let's give it a shot. Then we threw it up there, and then we painted and finished it. And
Yeah, it's like ship it. It's
yeah,
done.
it's amazing.
It looks awesome.
It is absolutely zero what it was meant to be when we talked about it, 2 years ago.
Or what it
whatever.
was before.
What it was before was tragic.
Yeah, well, and I thought that with that we would be able to, because I think that was the original plan with the fireplace, because the upstairs fireplace is all brick.
Yeah.
And the brick color isn't terrible. And so like,
No, the upstairs one is pretty.
yeah, and so I was like, well, and down here it was just like that square ugly tile, just like the big brown tile.
Yeah, the house was built in the late 70s, and there were pieces of it that screamed late 70s.
Yeah.
That was one of them.
Yeah, and so I just figured that we could take that off and the original brick would be underneath. And it turns out that was not the case at all.
Yeah, no.
We took off like a piece of it, and it's just,
Which is strange because, it's a
strange.
2-story and it's a stacked fireplace, right? So there's a chimney outside that runs 2 floors, and that's all the same brick as what the inside of the upstairs fireplace is.
right,
But it didn't wrap
right.
into the downstairs. This was like just concrete or cinder block or something behind here.
Yeah, it's super weird. And so instead, we're like, we're not taking that ugly tile out. We're going to cover over it. And we did. And it was fun. So it's just a whole bunch of those types of things. But the closet is one of those that was a me thing as far as the design and everything goes, as well as the kitchen and the pantry. And well, I mean, I guess it's all been my design.
Yeah, you
actually.
design it all. I just put it together.
But those were the ones that like it really matters as far as spacing and everything goes. Because I do my designs like really dead nuts. And that gets scary as you start building and you're like, actually, we only have 94 inches of vertical. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're
Yeah.
talking about. I've measured that 12 times.
Yeah, and then you go back and measure it, and it's not 94.
Son of a bitch.
Well, you can round dimensions when you're, just doing a rough takeoff sort of thing. But the way you do it, where this is dialed in at 94, well, it's great, but the ceiling's at 92 3/4.
Yeah, it can
So-
only be 94. Well, you're going to have to come up with a plan B. Great. So, yeah, that's been fun watching it all come together. Don't really know what aesthetic we're going for in there, but it's working so far.
That's going to be one of the nicest rooms in the house.
Yeah, it'll
A
be
closet.
nice. The closet. Well, because the closet and what we want to do for the master bedroom, I think aesthetically we can make those work, but we're also wanting to do like a French, like a Parisian bathroom, the
Yeah.
master bathroom, and have like the doors that open up off of onto a balcony from the tub.
Hmm.
And this very like spaceshipy design we have in our heads for it's not going to work with them.
The bathroom will be an interesting transition between the two, but we'll make it work.
Yeah,
We'll somehow figure out how to make black and white checkered floor tile blend in with a spaceship.
sure. It'll be a good time. Why not? But yeah, that's house stuff. And you're going to be heading outside soon to frame the addition, the final add-on to the house.
Yeah, the aforementioned never-ending winter is ending after 9 months, so I got to take advantage of the 2 or 3 months of not raining we have to get the rest of it all framed up and under roof.
Yeah, it'll be great. And then the kids will move into the attic and we'll never see them again.
Yeah,
Not because they have to, because they want to.
that's another evolution. We decided to make the addition 3-story instead of 2.
Why not? Let's get weird. It's been a journey, and so we'll probably put like assets and stuff up in all the different videos, I imagine, what we're doing in our progress, because this is something we probably should have always cataloged, if only for our own posterity, like it's hard to remember what this house looked like before,
Yeah,
as we were saying, and we just really didn't take pictures of the progress, except for we took pictures of the things that we found that were horrifying,
yeah. Yeah, we didn't really document progress. We documented what was terrible.
We
that ran
documented
across.
trauma. We
Yeah.
documented trauma. But yeah, no, actually speaking of the 70s vibe that our house was before, it's kind of tragic, I guess. It's interesting how we moved into this house, and I'm like, there were three things that I liked about this house, right? And those things had to stay, like for sure. And they're staying, those three things or whatever. But everything else, all the 70s vibe, everything, I would like, no, go take it and be gone with you. Absolutely. I hate it. I hate everything about it. And our decor is leaning so 70s these days.
Yes.
And it's because of Taylor Swift and the Midnight's era.
Yes.
And she needs to get a new era.
Yeah,
Because,
it's because you're shopping for furniture and decor after Midnight's was released.
And it's just, and it's all, well, because it also fits in. I mean, I guess it's more like mid-century modern or whatever, because it fits in with like my grandmother's piano that I have and my writing desk and, whatever, that kind of orange tone wood and just the style, whatever. So it fits with that. But again, I honestly think that I'm being okay with this instead of thinking about refinishing stuff into let's make it not look 70s because Taylor Swift is in her Midnight's era, which is messy.
Taylor Swift's life is messy right now, yes.
Oh my God, she's so messy. I think the album is an overall reflection of that, though. Like everything about it has been messy from the very beginning. It felt like a rushed album in its delivery. I mean, first and foremost, just like all the different types of albums that she put out, like 4 different copies of it, right? And they had the original songs on that were released at midnight, but we all pre-ordered. You had to pre-order this shit because it was limited whatever. And so I had 4 freaking pre-orders on the way.
Yeah, for the vinyl you had to pre-order.
The night that she dropped the original whatever. 3 hours later, she drops the 3 a.m. edition with like 8 more songs or whatever. And none of the vinyl shipped with that. And so you can't get it with that. So you don't have an incomplete album effectively.
Yeah.
And then the vinyl with the freaking stickers, the barcodes on the, they're not stickers.
They're on the
I
wrong,
wish they were.
Yeah, they're on the wrong side.
They're on the wrong side of the, so my wall aesthetic is just completely screwed. And this whole idea of like the Midnight's album is like a living album. She keeps adding shit to it or whatever. It's chaotic. It's messy.
Yeah, like 6 more songs just got added to, the Midnight's album in the last couple of weeks or something, right?
Yeah. It's super crazy.
Yeah. You don't get to just keep tacking songs on and calling it the same album.
I know. At some point, you just got to give up the ghost and just, this is a new one now.
Well, enough songs have come out that it is a whole album.
Yeah.
Like the 8 for 3 a.m. plus the 5 or 6 that just came out. Like that's a whole nother album worth of songs.
Yeah, 100%.
That it's just called, what was this one? Like the Midnight's Next Day edition or something.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. It's impossible to keep up. But 2 of those songs were remixes for the original album. And so there is that. But I like them.
One is phenomenal and one is mediocre.
Yeah, one is definitely mid. So the remix with Ice Spice for Karma, I can do without it. I like Ice Spice a lot, like for sure, but I will never play this. Like, I'm never going to ask and the Alexa or whatever to play this ever.
Yeah.
If it comes on, I will probably skip because it's not, the song wasn't originally formulated for Ice Spice is the thing. Taylor just shoved a feature onto this track for whatever reason. I mean, there could be a lot of reasons. A, you're capitalizing on the huge success and fame of Ice Spice. 2, maybe you want to ensure that it catapults Ice Spice into different, places or whatever. I have no idea. I really don't know. There's other speculation by the Swifties, but they're crazy, so we're not those kind of Swifties.
And as Taylor has gotten more messy, the Swifties have gotten more ridiculous with their theories.
Yeah, they're getting nuts because that's one of the theories about the Karma thing, putting Ice Spice on that song as a feature because of the past negative comments Matty Healy, her current, thing, has said about Ice Spice. And I'm like, I don't think it's that deep. I really don't think that this is some coordinated plan for Taylor to get the heat off of Matty and his comments.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
No. And so I really do think it's just, she shoved a feature on there just for funsies, and fine. Cool. It shows that you just shoved a feature on there. Now the Lana Del Rey one, perfection.
Absolute perfection. That was amazing. That is what I wanted that song to be when I heard that Lana Del Rey was going to be on a song
Yeah.
on
Oh,
Midnight.
100%. Like when I'd say I cried on that, like just to be whatever, you can vouch. I cried. I started sobbing as soon as she came on to that track. As soon as Lana came on and sang her second verse.
Yeah. She gets 2 words in and you're emotional.
Yeah, like because
Me also, I wasn't sobbing, but I missed it up a bit. It was
yeah,
just, it's that beautiful
right.
of a mix, of a tonality of it. You have to hear it. You have to listen to it.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. And it's what the song should have been. And it makes sense because, Lana did work with her to write it and make it and everything. So she should have been included, better on it. And it was glorious. The overall finished composition of Snow on the Beach, probably the best song Taylor Swift has ever made, ever. And that's wild to say because she has a million songs and I love them all.
Yeah, but musically, even if you don't like the lyrics, you don't like the point of the song, musically, it is perfection.
Yeah, compositionally, it's gorgeous.
Yeah,
It's
that's
absolute perfect.
Compositionally.
Yeah, absolutely perfect. And I love that one for sure. And the other stuff that she's coming out with, it's just I don't know. It's good. It's interesting. It's like I said, it's like a living album. Midnight's being a living album is a very interesting concept for me. And watching it sort of evolve with however she's wanting it to evolve, it's a new thing. She's never done this, She's always had like I'll put out an album and then there's like the deluxe edition and a couple extra songs.
Yeah.
But
This is more like Bethesda with Elder Scrolls Online, though. We're never going to give you a new game. We're
Nope.
just going to keep tacking on DLC for this game.
Keep updating more and more. Yeah, it's wild. But and again, that's messy. It's not something that she does. She's usually very meticulous and curated with everything. And that this is just sort of evolving throughout her concert schedule and whatever, while all of this information about her personal life is coming out.
Mm.
It's wild.
Yeah, every move she's made has always felt very calculated. And this is, like you keep describing it, messy. This is not feeling like I planned this 3 years ago. This
Right.
is feeling like, hey, I woke up this morning and decided we're going to do this.
Right. And I have to assume that that's what that is, that none of this was planned, but I'm wearing a shirt that says none of it was accidental. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
From Mastermind. Because that's what she is. And then, but it feels messy, it feels chaotic, but then it's almost like she's gaslighting us all or she's trolling us all. It's freaking wild. I don't know. Because she did that thing, right? Like this new stupid boy that she's dating, the Matty Healy, the 1975 guy.
Mm.
They knew each other before from like 2014 and rumored to have dated. I don't know. I don't follow her that closely. I follow her music.
Mm.
And as far as her personal life goes, I'm like, I don't care. I'm not going to make any like super deep dives into what that. I don't think it's my business.
Yeah.
It's not, whatever. It's fun to speculate. She hasn't confirmed any of this shit. And so really all that is Swiftie speculation, right? So fine. But the Matty Healy thing, like, I don't know, a month ago at this point, he was on because he's performing and touring right now too, apparently, with his band called the 1975s or some shit.
Mm.
And in this one song, I don't know what song because I don't know his music, he like mouthed directly to the camera, "This is for you, you know who you are, I love you," right?
Mm.
And like the next night or the night after that, Taylor is at her concert. She's at the Eras tour, and I'm trying very actively to avoid all spoilers for it because we're going,
Mm-hmm.
and I want my final day on this planet because I will die on that day. Like that's
Yeah, you've been planning that for some time.
yep. I want it to be the proper sensory overload that it deserves for my death date, And so I have been avoiding spoilers, but there are some things you can't avoid. And I saw this because she, like, the next night or a couple nights later, she did the same thing during her concert, looking directly at the camera and mouthing, "This is for you, you know who you are, I love you." And it was to fucking Cardigan. And it's like, so if you go back, because the original thing for Cardigan, right? You remember during the Folklore album, she's explaining shit. And okay, whenever Taylor Swift starts explaining the songs to me, immediately my Spidey sense goes up, my Swiftie sense goes up, and I'm like, Methinks you doth protest too much. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't do a lot of explanations. Outside of the Reputation era, where that was her tagline,
Right.
she doesn't really explain things, but she made it a point to say that these 3 songs, the Cardigan, Betty, August trio, it was a fantasy. They're not real people.
Yeah, it's about a fictitious group of 3 people, all 3
Right.
songs.
Right. But
So-
then when you go back and you listen to Cardigan, Betty, and August after she did this shit to one would reasonably assume Matty Healy, well, it hits different. And then she puts out a song that says it's different.
I saw that. I have not heard that one. The only ones I've heard that she's dropped recently are the 2 remixes,
Yeah.
the Karma and the Snow on the Beach.
Well, and that one was interesting. It was raw. It's completely raw, you know? She hasn't even released that anywhere, like on Spotify or anything. She's making none money off of this. The only place that I was able to find it was in a YouTube video where somebody had recorded it and uploaded it.
Oh, got you.
Which tells me, yeah, this is obviously, she's sending a message to us, to Joe. I don't know. But it's raw for sure. It's very interesting too when you because it has that heartbeat that's going on in it. And then you think, and it's just like this slow, steady dun 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 dun, like Dirty Dancing-esque, when Patrick Swayze's doing his thing.
Right.
What immediately came to mind was, you've got my heartbeat skipping down 16th Avenue, right? But it's skipping. You've got my heart beat. Like it's fun. It's like butterflies. It's, you know what I mean? And just knowing that sort of like juxtaposition, it was well done. It was well crafted. Definitely put the heartbeat in there. Sad. It's suggesting the complete and total death of her golden love, right?
Yeah.
That's what Lover was supposed to be. It was the promise realized that she said and read that she was going to do. And she did the album. And now it's all dead. We're burning the Lover house to the ground. Everything's cuckoo bananas. It's messy.
Yeah, some of the visualization that we've seen from the concert is going off the rails.
Yeah. I'm very excited to see it all in person and experience it. And yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just generally along for the messy ride, I suppose. I don't have much of a choice.
Yeah, no, you don't have a choice.
Because a lot of the Swifties are deciding that this is a bridge too far, and they're out there on, Twitter and shit and saying, we're selling our tickets and we're not going to the eras. You're selling your tickets? Right. Show me proof or shut up. Because right. I don't even think you have tickets. You're not selling
It's easy to say when you don't have them.
Exactly. You're not selling your fucking eras. That's not a thing, okay?
I don't think anything that she's doing warrants that sort of response either.
No.
I mean, so she's a little personally messy.
She is a 30-something person living her life, being the queen of goddamn, pop music, breaking all of the records, some of them that she set herself, and she continues to break them.
Right.
And living. And nothing that she's doing right now is actually a misstep. It's just different than what she's shown us in the past. If this is the level of messy and chaos that she continues to live in, I don't think that I can follow her down that path.
Right.
If
this just becomes the norm,
right,
then it's not the person you've been following.
Right. But yeah, the whole Taylor Swift thing, if you talk about it too much, you can unravel everything in her artistry, everything in her discography from 1989, the album, to now with Matty Healy in mind.
That sort of sounds like a fun thing to do.
It's not, though. It's not. Because if any one of those songs are actually about Matty Healy, I want to not have that knowledge. Because I don't really give a shit about what he is generally, because I guess that's been one of the big things with the Swifties. Oh, he's a bad guy. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's a provocateur. And he does that whole artistic whatever bullshit. And I don't like that because it sounds a lot like Kanye before Kanye lost his mind. And out of all the types of people that Taylor Swift should be associating herself with.
Yeah, maybe not dating Kanye.
Maybe not the best idea,
That's really what I meant with her first misstep is dating a problematic. Someone who has some sort of reputation like that.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. But Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to go ahead and chalk all this up to the end of a 6-year-long relationship, and she's getting some strange, and that's fine.
Yeah.
He's very strange.
Hopefully just leave it at that and everyone can move on.
Right? Because she's a child. Like, if you think about it, she's like mentally, she's a child, and she like tries to pretend that she's not, but she is. She's very emotionally stunted. And she's the maggiest Maggie that you've ever seen in your life, like the Runaway Bride
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Familiar.
Every group of people that she's ever associated with, every boy that she's ever dated, she changes. That is her personality. Her personality is to be a chameleon.
Mm.
Like, that's it. And in some ways, it kind of makes sense. I didn't really start coming into my own as far as my personality and everything goes. I mean, probably until I had kids and realized that, hey, you know what? But it took that change. And if she hasn't experienced that change yet, okay, fine. But also, she has that extra part with her that she's like, they say that you're like emotionally, mentally the same age that you were when you get famous or when you start using drugs. Same thing.
Right.
They impact you the same way. And so she's still a 15-year-old kid in a lot of ways. So if you start yelling at her about her choices in boys, she might go ahead and marry that boy.
Matty will be here to stay.
So we should just go ahead and let her have her fun and not bring attention to it, and she'll move on to someone more fitting soon.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to approach it.
Yeah.
I mean, the next time I talk to Taylor, that's exactly what I'm going to tell her.
Oh, good. Let her know.
Yeah.
Current events. I mean, honestly, I don't have any like interesting things right now. It sucks because
There was one thing that we put off, specifically, like you started to tell me, and I'm like, no, wait, save it for when we're doing the podcast. The DeSantis Twitter thing, I have not looked up. I still don't know what that was about.
Oh, yeah, the DeSantis Twitter thing. Oh, so that was ridiculous. Like, absolutely insane. DeSantis just in and of himself, he's been funny for me because like he's in a fight with Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Disney first and foremost. Like, Disney can do no wrong in my mind. I don't care what people say about no, Disney's great. And they are fighting with them, so that's fun. I enjoyed that. But in addition to all of that, where he continues to get owned by a very powerful corporation, so maybe you should think about, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He decides to announce his presidency run.
Right. That much I heard.
And he does it in the most epic way possible. Anybody running against Trump is already like, okay, this is interesting. People are going to pay attention, right? Because that right there is going to be a shit show. The whole Biden thing is going to be the most boring thing ever, like.
Oh, yeah, the Republicans battling each other is going to be what to watch.
Exactly. The sitting president and his, run up to the campaign season or whatever. It's like, okay, cool, whatever. But the Republicans over there losing their minds even more and doing all the whatever, trying to out crazy the crazy at this point. And that's like their whole agenda. Let's see what kind of psychos we can put up for the presidency of these United States. That's fun. But anybody against Trump is just going to be an absolute, shit show because Trump is an absolute shit show. And so just his reaction to it will be fun enough, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And DeSantis, an absolute idiot, whatever. Cool. Like I said, it's comedy. But he announces his presidency run, but he decides to do it to pair up with Elon Musk of I'm good at running Twitter fame. Because that's his title. He's good at running Twitter or something.
Yeah, that's why I had to hire a new CEO.
DeSantis decided to use with Elon Musk. They paired up together, and together they were announcing his intentions to run for to be the Republican candidate for the presidency.
Okay.
For the election. And they were going to use Twitter like live spaces to do it. Now, Twitter, you're not on that Twitter thing.
I know it's for texting 160 characters or less.
Well, I think it's more now these days. I think you can do more. I don't know. I don't tweet. Like, that's not a thing, but I'm pretty sure it is more than 160 characters these days.
Okay.
But anyway, it's not a video platform. It's not a live streaming platform. That's not what it's built for. It's not built. He's been trying to make it be that, But it's not that. Like, that's not what it's built for. If you want to be able to do that, you actually have to code in that capability. You know what I mean?
Oh, you mean Captain Elon has been trying to make it a video
Yeah,
platform?
and it's not really that kind of thing. There are like live events that are held on Twitter, but it's mostly like listening to a lecture essentially. You really have no functionality to actually be a part of it and like comment and interject, and there's no video whatsoever. It's just you're listening to a live lecture, and they're usually like, maybe 500, maybe 1,000 people on these things at any given time.
Wait, there's no video.
Well, there
So,
can be videos that are uploaded onto Twitter, but as far as these live things, they don't have video
so this
associated.
DeSantis thing, he wasn't like talking into a camera.
Right,
It's just his voice.
right. On like a
And
live,
Elon was with him,
on
or
like a,
like producing it, or
yeah. And so they were talking together, and it was the whole idea was going to be like, I'm Elon Musk, and I'm proud to introduce Ron DeSantis, whatever.
so like an old radio show sort of thing.
Kind of, but live.
Okay.
And again, I must stress, Twitter does not have the functionality to actually do these things. And like 100,000 at least people clicked onto this live event
Hmm.
to hear whatever, and it crashed the system. Twitter couldn't handle it. And also, Elon and Ron DeSantis couldn't figure out how to use a mute button. And so they're
Oh,
actively
nice.
sitting there going, well, I mean, it's not working. We don't know what that, I mean, just like, it was the most cringe thing ever. Like, the boomerest moment that you could ever,
Oh, so they're chatting about the stream failure on hot mics.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
And they finally got it to work, and he announced his thing. The end of that ended up being, because it was such a disaster, that was the story. Not Ron DeSantis has thrown his hat into the ring for, the Republican nomination. And here's what that means. It's, Ron DeSantis is a joke, and move along. Like,
Oh, it's amazing.
and Elon, and again, I guess that's another reason. Just don't do things with Elon. What
Agreed.
what good comes from Elon Musk these days?
The smart people he hired to do other things.
Elon
That's
Musk
what good
of
comes from it.
Kanye West and DeSantis fame. I mean, oh, and he like replatformed that one dude who, or anti whatever, the incels love him, that's in jail in Romania right now.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
this is the kind of person Elon Musk is. He's not good at things. That's who you're going to go through to. Why not just like get on your own YouTube page? I bet you have one.
It sounds like anything would have gone better than this.
Literally anything.
And why
else.
do you need the name recognition of Elon Musk
You don't.
to announce your presidential candidacy?
Ron DeSantis literally does not.
Did he just pick Twitter because that was Trump's favorite place to be? And he's like, haha, I can still do this?
I think that's probably why Elon and Ron DeSantis like did it together, because wasn't there a thing like when Elon reinstated Donald Trump's like Twitter account or something? Like, he came out and was like, "No, I'm good actually. I've got this much better platform over here."
Oh, yeah, I think he did. Trump, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's like, no, I don't need Twitter. I've got Truth Social.
Right.
That's the one he's got now, right? Because didn't he start one and then it closed
I
and
think it
they
was
started
True
another one?
Social that he started, and it was bad. I think it's still bad from what I hear, but I don't know. It's just one of those crazy ass echo chambers where everybody exists and they just like gas each other up. And he has, for all this freedom of speech bullshit, massive like blocks and censors on who can say what. So you can't go on there and talk shit about Trump.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And it's like, that's fine. It's like, if you're doing this as this is my private platform, like this is our channel, yeah, we can put censors on it and we can decide who gets to comment and who doesn't. That's fine. It's our legitimate space, but you have a whole ass social media platform based on the premise of free speech is a thing. But yeah, it's just an echo chamber.
Yeah, the terrifying bit is that one of those two jokers will be selected by the party to actually run for president. But the funny bit is watching them debate.
Right.
I can't wait to see a DeSantis-Trump debate. It's going to be amazing.
All of the people that, would potentially,
Yeah, we already know what Trump is, and DeSantis has proven that he's just a, tantrum-throwing man-baby because Disney didn't agree with a bill he signed.
Because Disney likes the gays. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, no. That is not a crazy statement to make, right? That's not an edgy place to exist now. That's just saying, officially, I am on the right side of history, and I understand that human rights are a thing. This is the most normal, boring thing in the world to say that you support the gays.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, this whole battle started when he's now the boss of Disney again, but he wasn't at the time. He was retired. He tweeted about the Don't Say Gay bill.
Right.
He wasn't even associated with Disney. He didn't work there anymore.
Oh, is that right?
And that's
Before
what
he
sparked
did,
this
before
off.
he was
Yeah, because he just
interesting.
came back on in the last few months, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the last 6 months or something. But yeah, when he spoke as himself, not as Disney, because he did not work there. That's what set this off.
Interesting. I
And
thought
now
it was
he's
Disney proper.
taken the spot again.
I thought I'd seen that it was Disney proper.
Well, Disney proper did agree with him,
Yeah.
but he started it, not the company.
Yeah. But I love their current thing, whatever. Like their whole filing for a lawsuit or whatever under the premise of you are, penalizing a company for having a political agenda.
Oh, they amended their filing to include a direct quote from DeSantis that he said after they filed, just him admitting that he's attacking them for political reasons.
Yeah.
So Disney lawyers amended the filing to include that.
Yeah.
And then, the tagline at the bottom, there's never been a more blatant case.
Right. Yeah, 100%. And it seems like it runs contrary to the things that, DeSantis loves to say. They contradict themselves in every statement. These things that I say I want versus the things that I actually do. Like, they don't understand the cognitive dissonance that's at play here. And it's like scary. It's terrifying.
Well, the things that they say they want, I feel they want for their people, but
Right.
not for everyone.
Right. He's actively hurting Floridians with the shit that
Yeah.
he's doing.
Disney just canceled their $1 billion development project.
Mm-hmm.
It's an 11,000 acre project. Like, not just Disney on the 11,000 acres, but there were apartments being built, hotels. Disney was bringing 2,000 plus employees from California to this new campus, and they didn't postpone it. The
Right.
announcement was, we're just not doing it.
Right.
Project canceled.
Exactly.
And construction was already ongoing from other contractors and other developers for the strip malls and the apartment buildings.
Right.
These projects are still they're out of the ground. They're
Right.
being constructed. And now
And
the
Disney's like,
anchor
nope.
that was going to populate all of this is not there.
Yep.
It's a huge impact.
Yep. And he's such an idiot that, I mean, the absolute, the selfishness of that, like that is incredibly selfish. You're not just some guy. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
is your job to represent and care for all of these people that live in Florida.
Yeah, it's not like the My Pillow guy just running his mouth.
Right.
Like, you are the governor of Florida.
Exactly.
And you've picked a personal fight with
That's
the
impacting
biggest economic contributor to your state.
that's impacting, yeah, your people. And it's just absolutely insane.
Because you're a tantrum throwing man baby.
Right.
That's it. You're just a child.
Right.
You
And
didn't get your way, so you're going to pull the rug out from under them.
Right. And so in 2 years, when that shit comes to your door, like the unemployment's up and all that,
Mm.
who are you going to blame? You. You are the person to blame here because Disney is great for providing jobs and money to the state of Florida.
Yeah, it's the same thing as, when everyone gets excited about Amazon building a new headquarters.
Right.
Well, that's millions and millions and billions of dollars that are going to come into that area.
Yeah, all of those different cities and states or whatever were on that bid and, submitting, this is why you should come do this, Amazon,
Yeah.
for a reason. Because
Yeah.
there's a benefit. It's not like the Olympics, right? Where I still don't understand why people do it. Because why states and countries and shit do it. Because they spend so much freaking money for it and there's never a return.
I would actually like to see the balance sheets of all the Olympics. What was spent versus what was gained, because they always tout that, like, we want the Olympics here because of all of the influx of economic activity, all the money that's going to be spent if we have them here.
Right.
But from what I've heard, and I don't research the Olympics, like you just said, they never make money.
Right. They never do. And there's always such a disaster. I mean, that's why like Romney really came into prominence in the public eye because effectively he like went back and like fixed Utah because the economics were
Right.
going to kill them for the Olympics. And so he worked his financial magic and he became like, some sort of conservative, like go-to guy, which is yay, good, whatever. But yeah, it never works out. I was researching the Olympics that were in, where were they?
Mm.
Yeah, the Russian Olympics. It was crazy. Like the amount of money that they spent just to get things over, like electrical and cable and, Wi-Fi lines and, whatever.
Yeah.
Just to get it over to a place, just so they looked quasi-normal. to the
Yeah,
rest
because
of the
they
world.
set up the Olympics in one of their second world villages essentially,
Yeah,
and had
and
to run
then
all the infrastructure in there to keep it running.
ran all that infrastructure just directly there and did not provide it to anybody else along the way.
Yeah, it was just for the Olympic
Like, why are
complex.
you guys the worst? Like, holy shit. But it was just for that. Massive amounts of money were spent for that.
Mm.
Guarantee they haven't recouped that. How could you?
No. Well, wasn't there also a boycott to visiting the Olympics that year? So they didn't get even, a fraction of what a normal Olympic location would get.
Yeah, that was
Where
a rough
was it? I
one.
can't remember the
I know, it's
town.
driving me nuts. Well, we have a phone. We can look it up.
Oh, check that out.
Sochi was the host of the
Sochi.
2014.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it? Sochi?
Yeah, that's how I heard it said on TV. Yeah. So Sochi got electricity and Wi-Fi for the duration of the Olympics.
Yeah. And nobody else did. And they, again, massive amounts of money in order to do that. You never make it back. But yeah, that was the stuff going on with the Twitters. And yeah, besides that and Illuminaughtii, that's all I have for current events because the Illuminaughtii shit has completely fucked up my For You page on YouTube. Nothing but more Illuminaughtii drama.
Illuminati's still going on then?
Yeah.
Wow. More things I had never heard of until the morning coffee session where you caught me up.
Yeah. I mean, like, should people not know? Illuminaughtii is a YouTuber, not to be confused with Illuminati. And she's a pyramid. Like, we don't have a face to go with the voice for the channel. Video essayist, 1.7 million subs is what she started with this drama about 5-ish weeks ago. Anyway, she picked a fight with Legal Eagle online on Twitter about plagiarism claims. Legal Eagle, being a lawyer, came out and schooled her, said, no, and you can't steal this. And also, I was doing it before. Nicely. He said it nicely. And as a result, everybody that was just waiting to dogpile on Illuminaughtii took the opportunity and dogpiled on Illuminaughtii. And so at the end of all of this, she is massively canceled, which I don't know how I feel about. I think people are confusing cancel culture and call out culture. I think this was shit that she needed to be called out for, being a bad friend, being passive aggressive on the internet, deleting Tommy C's files, like, yeah, you can call people out for that, but like it's not against the law to be passive aggressive. You know what I mean? Like, you can be a shitty, like, vague poster. I've got an old member of the Sudzer community that has been doing that like nearly daily against me for the last like 6 months. Just let her cook. I don't care. That's not really that's not anything that deserves cancellation. Just let them continue to show people their true colors, and rational, logical people will go, actually, I don't want to be a part of this. And they'll make those decisions on their own.
Yeah.
But call them out. Sure, if you want to. But cancellation for all this? I don't think so. Like, I don't. Because they're actively going after her sponsors. They tagged HelloFresh in a tweet and said she gave her mom cancer and then shared an employee's suicide note. Only one of those was true. And
it's very hard to do the former.
Right. And HelloFresh was like, okay, yeah, no, she's not part of it anymore. So they're going after her sponsors. Whatever.
Oh, and the sponsors cave because that's what they do.
Right. And again, well, it's just the liberal mob that people are convinced don't exist, showing yet again that, yeah, they do, and they will eat their own. Like, we go after each other way harder than we are willing to go after the people that we actually want to,
Yeah, it doesn't. It takes a very small offense for the liberal mob to go after a liberal.
Right. And like, as you were saying when we were talking about this before, this isn't even a political thing. And
no, that it's not a political thing. It's not a leftist thing. It's not a cancelable offense.
Right.
Like, people used to, back in my day, which was a year ago, it seems, people got cancelled for good reason.
Right.
Like, you've done something egregious. You are a terrible person.
Right.
And that's why you're cancelled.
Exactly.
Now it's like, well, you were a bad friend.
Right.
That's not political.
Right.
That's not left or right.
Right.
That's just a personal, I had a friend, we got in a fight.
And a lot of it's none of
I'm
our
going to be
business.
cancelled for that?
So it's like, like none of our business. So what
Yeah,
what?
none of it's even professional.
Right.
It's yeah. From what you've told me about this, I completely don't understand. It's like the mob doesn't have anything else to focus on right now, and they were given this. Like you said, she's got 1.7 million subscribers. Well, there are enough people out there that you can make a little group and latch on
Yeah.
and make this a thing.
Yeah, and they're just going hard, you know? And again, I don't know, like yeah, she's done some shitty things. And high level, this definitely shows a person that you do not want to get involved in as far as business goes because well, when it doesn't end well, she gets on her sock accounts and she tries to ruin your life. So, yeah, that's good to know. But I don't know, going after someone's money for that, it's like well, and she is also acting like Kada. So it's hard for me to be like, it's like Kada, right? Because I'll call Kada out for being, shitty business people or whatever, but I'm not calling for a cancellation of them. Fuck. Like, if anything, maybe that should serve as a wake up call for them to fix this and not, I don't want people's livelihoods to be destroyed for something like this. Fix it. You can fix it. But she's acting like Kada. Like, she sent a cease and desist to one of the people, just one of like the former three people that were whatever, just one of them. She sent a cease and desist to, and it's like, all right, that's what people will do when they just want you to stop talking about them and they have no other recourse. They
Yeah.
can't say it's not true, but I want you to stop saying it out loud, you know.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that she'd sent a cease and desist. That's new information.
And
But
it's
that
just,
was amazing to receive from Kada also.
I
Because,
know.
this big, long, angry bang on the keyboard letter didn't disavow anything, right?
Right.
It's not like, no, that's everything you said is false. It's like they didn't address any of that at all. Just please stop talking about it.
Right.
Well,
But
no.
that was also something that somebody pointed out on Twitter about all of that. Because she was pretty quiet. She put out her like Illuminaughtii exposed video or whatever
Mm.
and just continued to upload videos business as usual. Didn't really address anything else. Not on Twitter. Her Twitter was silent, not, whatever. And she was pretty quiet for about 3-4 weeks. And somebody pointed out on Twitter after she came out with a series of tweets saying, I'm taking, we're working hard behind the scenes about these, claims that are false, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
And it was the day after the leftist mafia decided to give her a Joe Pesci style promotion. They made her. That was in bad taste too. I hate everything about that, but the leftist mafia is a different conversation entirely. Like, all right, buddy. Again, to what you said, not political, but somehow that anyway.
Yeah, I don't
Somebody
think that was
commented,
properly handled.
no, I don't either. I think that they shit the bed on that. But somebody commented on Twitter was like, so this is why she's been quiet. She sought legal advice
Mm.
and was being quiet while they had an opportunity to review everything.
Because that's what lawyers always tell you to do.
Yeah, be
Just
quiet.
shut up.
So to that, she was doing what Kada should have fucking done.
Mm.
And what we did when we got that cease and desist from Kada.
Mm.
I didn't say a goddamn word about it anywhere. Continue on with business as usual. My lawyers went over it, talked to me, and as soon as they took the leash off, let's go.
Yeah, we wanted to say something immediately,
Right.
but instead we sought the advice of counsel. And when
Exactly.
they said, you're in the clear, then we started talking again.
Right. And one of the reasons why I felt completely, and so did the attorneys, they were already fine with it. They're like, no, there's no case here for, the cease and desist Kada sent you. But then Kada started running their mouth, I was like, well,
Mm-hmm.
it's bad now for you because you're actively out there saying falsehoods, whatever. It became this whole weird thing, but yeah, that's probably exactly what she did, and she should have. She's a business. Consult the legal whatever before moving forward. But yeah, she's sending out a cease and desist now, which I find interesting.
Is that because it was the only one that could possibly have merit? Just the one person?
I don't really know what it is. Like one of them is not an American citizen, so she's only known him online, so she may not have his address. / the laws could be different from the U.S. to like I think he's in like Norway or so, I don't know. But the other one that spoke out, she used to live with him, so she certainly has his address.
Mm.
And then, but the one that she sent the cease and desist to, she also certainly has his address because we know that. But that was the only one that got a cease and desist out of all three of them. So it could be that that's the one that was the most damaging to her.
Got it.
Which, to be perfectly honest with you, it is the one that's most damaging to her, because that's from a societal, this is how we treat other human beings perspective. That's starting to get into the area of a cancelable offense, because she's sharing his mental health story without his consent.
Right.
And in the year of our Lord 2023, that is a terrible thing to do.
Yes.
I mean, it's always a terrible thing to do, but it is just a known, you don't cross that line.
Yeah.
As far as the other two saying that she's, this happened and that happened, and she had sock accounts that talk shit about the other one on Reddit, who cares? That's not damaging. Everybody does that, apparently.
That's just online life.
Yeah, everybody has like 12 sock accounts. I need to get some of those things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't be left out.
No,
Need to be able to talk shit anonymously.
I do. It'd be nice. But now I can just talk shit here and still actually attach my face to it. Like, here I am.
I think it's more fun when it's coming directly from you.
I agree. If it's worth your time to talk shit, you might as well do it, with your whole chest.
Yeah, agreed.
Accept the consequences.
That's a
the only
crazy
stuff
thing to say. You accept the consequences.
Oh, I know,
There's
right?
another topic for another podcast.
What's that? Consequences. How dare you? Well, that's because that's another thing that's in play with the Illuminati shit as well, because she spoke out, but she was clapping back to people who were not related to any of this, legal thing.
Yeah, that's something I was considering bringing up with this whole divulging someone's mental health state. Well, the person she talked about started it, and she was responding.
Right.
So, how much protection are you really afforded?
Exactly.
And how cancelable is that?
Right.
Cancelable is that if someone else brought you into it?
Right. It's a response. Like, you did not have to speak up. You did not have to do what you did.
Hmm?
And if you open your mouth and she also has dirt on you and you're spreading some dirt on her, I mean.
Yeah, that's the thing that's been just sort of tripping me out with this is not just this, but just these things. There's always someone who runs their mouth, right? Calls someone out, and they have a history with this person they're calling. You know that they know all the dirt on you.
Right.
And you decide to go ahead and call them out anyway, and then get angry when they say, yeah, but I know all this about them. You brought it on. You started it. You opened the door,
right,
as legal would say.
Yeah.
Now it's all fair game.
Exactly.
But you knew I had this knowledge before you ran your mouth.
So you probably should have kept that in mind before, doing whatever. It's just so much of it is just shit I don't care about, And as far as the whole cancellation and whatever, there's only one reason. There's only one thing that she actually should have been canceled for. And I'm shocked. Everybody's making her their cash cow at this point. Like, everybody's doing videos on her, and it's like, dude, that's.
She just became this week's clickbait.
Yeah, we're gonna clickbait this title of this podcast with that shit to also make money off of
something about Illuminaughtii.
We're not even monetized, but it's gonna be something about Illuminati. No, seriously, I'm gonna do that. I'm leaning into it, but the only thing that I think she really should be canceled on, and I don't know why people haven't found it, considering they're all obsessed with her these days. She deserves cancellation for charging $80 a fucking candle in her candle company. Like, that is some bullshit. Especially considering her whole thing is like bad corporations and like,
right.
businesses taking advantage of you. $80 for a freaking candle that's like a coconut wax blend. It's crap. It's complete crap. I know candles, and I look at that blend and I'm like, it cost you maybe 85 cents to make that candle.
That's a great margin.
That is insane.
I mean, I'm not going to buy an $80 candle, but I've sort of got respect for someone who can get you to give them $80 for a candle.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's the only cancelable offense right there. As a maker, as somebody who loves the small business world, who feels very strongly about the maker movement, candles and soap making go together like peanut butter and pickles. It is a thing. And yeah, no, I am offended for that, and that deserves cancellation. How dare you charge $80 for a candle?
Well, now with
Thanks.
this video being clickbait titled about Illuminati, you'll get that information out to the masses.
That's going to be the title. That's it. That's the title.
Illuminati. And also $80 candles.
No, it'll be something like, I mean, I respect Swoop. I love Swoop a lot, but all of her videos are always titled like Brian Laundry and what no one is talking about, right? And then she goes on and she talks about what everybody else is talking about. She just does it in her own way.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of
There's
that,
no
you
new
haven't
information.
actually learned anything new from that as you have from all the other videos that you've watched on the same subject that came out way earlier than hers did because she does the documentary style and it takes longer for her to get her edits and everything done. And I love Swoop, but every single one of her titles are clickbait. And it's awesome. It totally works. So that's what we're doing.
But this actually is new information. No one is talking
Nobody's
about
been talking about it,
candles.
and it's so weird to me. It's so weird to me, especially considering Wonder in his video and the Oz thing. Her candle company has been brought up a couple times in those things, and nobody thought to go Blair Fox Candle Company. I mean, it's in her descriptions of her videos, the link to Nox and Vesta.
I just wish we had one of the candles sitting right there for this podcast.
I know, right? Well, we also bought one. It's shit. It's terrible.
That would be amazing. I'm going to buy one and edit it in. Have a Blair candle sitting there.
I mean, her stuff's still online, and like, I mean, I assume she's shipping. If this kind of stuff were going on around me, I probably would have put my site into construction mode, like we're taking a break or something.
Yeah, I mean, if your YouTube revenue stream is taking a dive, most definitely.
Because trolls will go buy your shit and then claim that your candle burned down their house in the height of this just to get some cred. You know what I mean? Like, that joke people will actually do. But I don't know. I don't know if people just don't know that she has a candle company or what. But like I said, it was brought up a couple times in the call out videos about her. So
just didn't register with the people that were looking for something else to be pissed about.
Yeah, canceled because you're screwing over your subscribers. Price
while
gouging.
putting out YouTube videos talking about how bad companies are for screwing over their
because that's the funniest
customers.
thing. That's her content. That's how she got like popular, like the MLM scams and all the whatever. She has an entire series called The Corporate Casket.
MLM scam. The pyramid thing makes sense.
It's pyramid. That's
she talked about pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that's been screwing up my YouTube feed right now. I need to reset it. I just learned that you can do that yesterday. Really. So gonna have to do that.
Start over.
Yeah. Well, at least it got rid of all the Taylor Swift spoilers for the Eras tour.
Oh, good.
So that's been good. They've been buried.
Yeah. I know those have been hard to avoid.
Yeah. I need to go just like click on a couple Crooked Media videos and hope that all of that comes in.
Yeah. Get everything sorted back the way it should be.
Yeah. It needs to be normal again. But
hope that works out for you.
We should probably, say goodbye and see how all this stuff works. We've been talking for 2 hours, and I have no idea how long we wanted these podcasts to be.
Well, at least we have a lot of material to edit through.
Right. There's nothing wrong with this 2-hour podcast.
I don't think so.
We can do whatever we want.
I'm not super familiar with podcasts either, but I think it's all right.
Yeah. Welcome to our podcast where we do what we want.
Thanks for sticking around.
Call it Cartman Chronicles.
God.
But yeah.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Good.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Nice and smooth.
Ready to send all the people off?
Yeah, I suppose.
We had a podcast. We did a thing. We may never show up again.
Yeah, this is the first episode of maybe the last episode.
Yeah, it's first and last. That's how those things work.
See how long it takes to edit.
I do weird things on my channel where I like send it off with like the same thing every day.
Right.
Do you want to have anything like that here? Do we have like a catchphrase that we say? Like, we'll see you next time, but in the meantime, leave me alone.
Yeah, I like that.
That's fun. No.
Love you, bye forever.
I love you, goodbye forever. That's actually a good one. That's mine. So what's yours?
Oh, I like that one though.
Oh, okay.
I don't have catchphrases.
Are we gonna say it together though? Maybe one of us should say it, and we should swap off in podcasts. So one day you say it, and the next day I say it, or something.
Or you say love you, and I'll say goodbye forever.
No, I can't do that. It has to be the whole thing.
Love you.
Or otherwise, it's scripted. Love ya. That's what it
Goodbye
could
forever.
be. It could just be the Emma Chamberlain and Jack Harlow thing that you didn't know about until 2 days ago. See, this is what I mean.
Totally.
I give you such cool information that you retain.
That's where my love you came from.
Without me,
from that
you
conversation.
wouldn't even know anything about pop culture.
Without you, I wouldn't know who Emma Chamberlain or Jack Harlow were.
This is what I just said. You just used more words to say it.
Right. Love you. Bye forever.
Bye.